Welcome back. While other teams like the NBA and the NHL already looking ahead, trying to figure out how to play, we're going to see that with college sports most likely. Then there is baseball. Major League Baseball and its players cannot come to an agreement, and it's a money problem. Of all things during a pandemic, this labor dispute breaks out. Rich, when you look at it, the owners have had 17 straight years of growth. Last year, they profited $10.7 billion. The players' salaries have always risen. Everyone's making money, and yet here we are in a money grab. Who's to blame?
You know what? This is so disappointing to me because I love baseball, and I want to see baseball back. I think that's the sport that would bring this country together. Everyone played baseball growing up, and I don't know if it's going to happen now. I'm afraid it's not going to happen. I was really optimistic. I think I was the one optimistic guy on this panel that thought baseball was coming back for sure. And now I don't even know if I'm at 50-50. I think the one good thing about this week, this was a critical week for baseball, and we haven't heard anything. I think that potentially is a good thing. Maybe they're working towards things here. And you're asking me who I'm blaming the players. I think the players just need to say, we're going to play this year for the love of the game. And if we can split revenues, we can. But we just want to get people back. We want to give this country hope of things are coming back. We want to get fans excited. I think that would bring a lot of people together. If they went out and said something like that. I understand that they want to make money too, and I know someone called me on the sports call and say, you know, they got to put food on the table, but these guys are making tons of money. They're making tons of money.
They're all overweight, too much food. Food's not the issue.
Well, yeah.
They're fat and sassy, both sides, man. Oh, come on.
Well, but
it's owners to me.
Not as well, right? And I agree with that, Bob, because here's my perspective. If you're a player, I don't know the exact number, but let's say your average MLB career length is something like 5 or 6 years. That's 3 or 4 years where you're making league minimum and then arbitration years. And by then, after that, maybe you're out of baseball. These owners, it's in their families. They've got decades, sometimes longer, to make a profit. So to me, if anybody's going to make a sacrifice for the quote-unquote love of the game, it's the people that have 100 years to make their money and not the people who only have 4 or 5. And that's why when we're talking about finding common ground, who should make the bigger sacrifice, I think it's the owners because they have more time to make the money back.
I think that's what this proposal was geared towards. The players that aren't making a lot of money, because that's the majority, just like the NFL. They'll say yes, and then the guys that are making a lot of money either have to abide by it or they're just going to say, I'm not going to play, right? I mean, can you play baseball without the Mike Trouts of the world, without the Snells of the world, without some of these big stars, Bryce Harper? I think you can. People just want to see teams out there right now, and if it's just the young guys that are making a couple $100,000 a year, then let's play baseball.
Yeah, but I don't think it'll ever get to that point for a
I think the union's too strong to do that, but maybe.
Well,
tell them not to play.
I think the owners have a lot to lose here. But there are some owners out there, Andrew, who think that it may be better off. According to Buster Olney, anyway, he says some of these guys may be willing to sacrifice this entire season because it'll cost them less. Do you buy that?
Yes, I do, because I've heard that from several people. One of the other things I've heard, which is right in line with that, Bob, is that some of these owners think if there's a second wave, it's going to cause the season to go away again, and then there's no playoffs, and then they don't get the big World Series playoff money from the networks, which I'm hearing is a real concern among baseball's owners, that they don't think they're going to see that big payday. But it shouldn't be about that. You know, I think back when 9/11 happened, in the subsequent days and weeks that followed, baseball was a social institution that helped a country that was dealing with a national tragedy. And we don't have, you know, there's not a terrorist organization out there. We're dealing with a pandemic. It's still an enemy, though. And to me, we've seen sports heal and bring people together. It's an opportunity for baseball that I don't think they're going to get back if they don't play. And I don't think people will forgive them easily for it if they decline to play because of the money.
Yeah, they might be better off not playing, according to some owners, but I think it'll destroy the game, at least in the short time. And it'll take a long time for people to trust. There's already a lack of trust, right? You guys agree with me here.
Totally.
There's a lack of trust here with the owners. And this will destroy the game for a short period of time if they don't play.
All right, now it's time to go around the horn, ladies and gentlemen. It's this week's Smooth Moves, Brought to you by Pittsburgh's largest supplier of the smoothest granite, marble, and quartz countertops you're going to find anywhere. You got to check out Armina Stone. So we'll check out what these guys have to say. Rich, first, your smooth move of the week.
I can tell you what's not my smooth move, and that's Major League Baseball. But what is my smooth move is the NBA and Disney World. They're coming together. It looks like it's going to be a fun, exciting tournament, something like the NHL. So Disney World is going to get all these 20 or 22 teams, and they're supposed to announce it this week. They're playing. So my smooth move goes to the NBA, which is my new favorite sport. I'm going to start rooting for the Orlando Magic.
I want to see that.
I'm going to start rooting for the Orlando Magic, and that's my smooth move of the week.
Well, I got news for you, Richie. Penny Hardaway and Shaquille O'Neal don't play for the Magic anymore, so good luck with that one. My smooth move, it's you guys. You guys, I believe, are entertaining the thirsty Pittsburgh sports fans like me who want live sports with your golf rematch. But my only pet peeve is, why didn't it go to a playoff? You're tied. You guys got to go to an extra hole.
Yeah, but we have deadlines. Had to go to work. Plus,
we're going to do a playoff at another course.
Yeah, but everyone was on the first
it's an 18-hole playoff.
We couldn't get back on the first tee. We were running out of time. But it was a draw, so that technically means, Rich, you still have not beat me, right?
Yeah, but we have an 18-hole playoff for the win.
Armina Stone, Pittsburgh's the largest supplier of the smoothest granite, marble, and quartz countertops you're going to find anywhere. Check them out and check out what we have next, which is NFL topics on the Showdown.